In this video, we are going to go over the top things that got me from being a plat player to being Unreal on not just one account, but on 2 separate accounts and top 10,000 on both of them. So stick around to the end of the video as the last couple tips are the most important. Number 1. Being uncontested off spawn. One of the main things about placing well in game and ranked or any tournaments, you will see pros do this, and that is land in an uncontested area with a lot of loot. If you do this every game, you will have a much higher chance of winning the game and fights later on, as you will have more sufficient loot to fight others. Number 2. Win off spawn fights. However, if you are contested off spawn, make sure to win your fights. Winning off spawn is the main way to have a good start to your match. Getting that first kill will put you on a higher chance of gaining more percent and therefore going up in Unreal fast. A good way to win off spawn fights is by finding a shotgun or SMG and some sort of quick shield so you have health and gun advantage. Number 3. Get damage on your opponents before they see you. Getting entry damage on your opponents already gives you the advantage, as now your opponents have to heal up and you can just push them until they get anxious. Getting entry damage is the main thing pros do before they push other pros or regular players, as it gives them the biggest advantage. Number 4. Applying pressure. Applying pressure to the point where they just get so tired of you spraying that they just decide to fight back. Making them this anxious and mad that you are continually spraying at them will make them overcommit and mess up multiple builds and edits, because you are already in their head and have practically won the fight at this point. Number 5. Placing consistently. Placing consistently in your games is one of the if not the most important thing in tourneys and ranked. By staying alive longer, you can gain more points or percentages. In many tournaments, you don't even really need to get kills, you can just get placement, and that is mostly true for rank 2. I figured out that if you get the top 50 and get 1 elimination, you will go up unless the average kill is higher than that in the game. By doing a good off spawn, you have a higher chance to live longer and gain those extra needed points or percentages. Number 6. Drop lots of mid-game kills. Mid-game kills in ranked are the best to get. Yes, late game gives you more percentage, but you can find worse players in mid-game as half the lobby is still alive. Getting mid-game kills will take your gameplay to the next level, and you will gain way more percentage than you would if you just camped and got 1 late-game kill. Number 7. Think about your fight before pushing your opponents. Having a plan in mind before pushing someone is important for winning the fight. If you have a plan and go and fight them, you already know what and when you are going to do things, therefore ending fights faster and more efficiently. Number 8. Get a medallion. Getting a medallion is almost necessary to winning any fight. It gives you regen, so when you are running from your opponents, you gain health while they stay the same. I recommend getting at least 1 medallion per game, as it gives you a big health and damage boost, as you can take more hits and deal more damage as you will be alive longer. Getting that extra 2 shields from the medallion can be the difference between you being alive or dead in the game. Number 9. Be confident in yourself and your skill. The main thing I see when people are grinding rank or in tournaments is that they are scared of other players. Being scared makes other players think that you are bad and just will push you. By pushing 70% of the players you see, they will most likely try to run or get away from you, as they think you are a better player, because only good players push others. Number 10. Figure out your opponent's playstyle in first 10 seconds of fighting. Pros are the best at this. Figuring out their playstyle can determine how and when they will react to your plays. Knowing how they play and what their strengths and weaknesses are important in beating them. The key to winning fights is by outsmarting or just outplaying your opponents based on what they do. Number 11. Make fights not last as long so you don't get pushed. We all know that you will get third parties and everyone complains about it, but you wouldn't get third partied as much as if you win the fight sooner. Winning the fight sooner gives you more time to heal up and get prepared in-game and mentally for another fight. It can also save you resources by winning a fight fast. The faster you win the fight, the better. That is why you will see pros dominate, and it is just because they win their fights a lot faster than the average Fortnite player. Number 12. Try not to get hit by your opponents while killing them. I know this one seems pretty simple, but it's not. When fighting your opponents, your goal should be killing them and taking no damage in the process. I see a lot of players have a really good fight and take no damage, but right before they get the kill on their opponent, they make a dumb edit or build which causes them to take damage, but you still get the kill. If you don't take damage in that situation, you can automatically go and fight more players, which means you can get more percentage and points in your games. Number 13. Having a good loot route. Having a good loot route can be the deciding factor in your fight outcomes. If you have straight gray loot, you are almost destined to get shit on. Having a gray drop and loot route will determine how many mats and heals and what guns you have. This is why I've dedicated loot routes for each one of my drop spots to ensure that I don't lose just based on my loot, and I can focus on my actual skill. Number 14. Don't have a massive ego. There are better players. Having a big ego isn't necessarily a really bad thing, but having too big of an ego for your skill level is. There will always be better players than you and have better or more competitive advantages than you. For example, someone might have 240 S and 0 ping, so they have a better advantage compared to you who has 160 FPS and 30 ping. Having somewhat of an ego is good because it can boost your confidence, but it can also affect how you play and think because you think you can't get better or everyone is bad compared to you. If you guys want to gain a competitive edge over your opponents, click on the video at the end of this video or in the description and it'll get you 120 FPS and get you 10 to 20 lower ping. Number 16, get sufficient refreshes. Getting refreshes is important whether it be killing someone and getting max mats and max heals, or if it is just going around and getting mats and heals yourself. There will be multiple times in a game where you have to get refreshes. They're important so that you do not lose fights, and they also give you a competitive advantage by getting good refreshes. Number 17, use pre-piece. Using pre-piece can help you piece and full box your opponents. By doing this, you have the advantage because you have everything around them. Also, know where your past builds are so you can use them for cover or use them to surprise your opponents. Number 18, don't overbuild. Overbuilding is a waste of mats, which isn't something you want to do. Wasting mats puts you at a disadvantage compared to the rest of the players. I always say you can win a fight no matter what if you have the mat advantage. Even if you have bad loot, you can just get high ground and use your mats to your advantage. Don't waste mats. Number 19, be slippery and get out of fights at flow. Getting out of fights is an important skill to have, especially if the person you are going against is better than you. If you can escape and re-gear up, you can come back and win the fight because you will have multiple competitive advantages. Being slippery means you can get out of things like pre-piece and full boxes, making different edits to mess them up, do things they don't expect, and you'll have an easier time getting out of fights. Number 20, creating multiple boxes. Creating multiple boxes gives you an advantage because of your multiple places to play around. Having multiple boxes can make you distract and confuse your opponents to where you are. This can especially be good when you're going up against really aggressive players, as they will try and push into everything, and this will go perfectly into the next topic. Number 21, lure opponents into your builds. Your opponents might not notice this, but you do. They're in your builds and you have everything around them. Aggressive players won't realize this, and you can use it to your advantage by full boxing them and just using different edits and angles to destroy your opponents. Number 22, try and utilize box fights. Box fights are the most important type of fight to learn. If you are good at box fights, you are generally good at fighting just in general. Box fighting makes everything closer and mean your gun will do more damage. Making sure you use this to your advantage and don't let your opponents predict your plays. Number 23, and the last thing, know when to create space. Creating space is the best way to either win or lose a fight. It is a determining factor in how most of your fights go. Creating space can scare and even make your opponents leave, as they can tell how you play. Creating space can improve your overall gameplay and make you win 90% more of your fights. If you guys did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and if you want to know how to get low ping and high FPS, click on the video right here. Anyways guys, peace.